One of my friends was talking about the viability of Entei Ogerpon recently, so I decided to take the deck out for a spin, and I was honestly quite impressed. I think that the deck has a lot of merits into this metagame, with decks such as Charizard, Regidrago, and Archaludon on the rise. Now, obviously, against a deck like Archaludon, Entei has a chance to hit Thanes for weakness, and pick off Thanes such as like the Dialga V pretty early on, as well as just threaten Archaludons when they haven't used their attack yet. Ogerpon is also incredibly good, and to just tackling Charizard, which is one of the few Stage 2 decks that actually uses the HP pool in a meaningful way. And the combination of these cards, on top of both of them having pretty solid draw abilities, allows you to pretty consistently get your game plan online, and you really don't need a whole lot going for it. The deck is also able to make use of some cards like Mew EX alongside a heavy count of judges to constantly swarm your opponent down and trickle away the resources, while the extra small draws you get from Ogerpon and Entei and Mew really stack up throughout the course of the game. We can also use Area Zero to hit bigger numbers with the Entei V, which is extremely nice. And because we don't need a self-destruct through our deck or rely on any cards or discard, we don't have to play a Radiant Greninja either. This allows us to use Radiant Charizard instead, which gives us another great attacker into the late game. I ended up going 4-0 when I was testing this deck, and like I said, I think it has a lot of merits. It is definitely going to stay on the rogue territory, I believe. I really do not believe that this deck is going to come out swinging, especially as we enter a Badoom meta where I think Badoom will screw over this type of archetype really hard. But for now, I think this deck is extremely strong, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alrighty, getting started my first game, and I'm against Retrieval V-Star, which is one of the decks I really wanted to highlight a matchup against, because Retrieval V-Star is pretty much just the best deck in the game right now, and I think that having a good matchup against it is really strong for a deck that manages to go over 50-50 against every other deck in the game. I think actually having a strong Retrieval matchup is really nice, and so I think this is just like a good highlighting of the deck's skill potential, as well as some of its consistency factors. I end up leading with the Ogerpon here, which is not my best start, but I can't complain. I'd rather start with an Ogerpon than something like a Latias or a Fez that isn't going to do much for me. My opponent also goes ahead and Ultra Balls for the Dragon Bolt here, which I'm not quite sure is the best play. If you see an Ogerpon from your opponent's side of the field, I feel like you typically want to grab a Giratina, because that would mean you're able to smack against Raging Bull or opposing Regidrago V-Star as opposed to, whatever Dragon Ball is doing. Though I could be wrong, I'm not a Regidrago player, so I can't say for sure. Here, I'm able to just grab a Grass Energy and a Fire Energy. I kind of want to default to get my Fire Energies attached as quickly as possible, because they're the only things that can't be automated to the deck. I have to raw deploy the Fire Energy because I'm not playing the Magma Basin or any other form of non-grass energy acceleration. I also go ahead Nest Ball for Squawk and Teal Mask at the same time. That said, I should definitely probably use Teal Mask first with the extra energy in my hand, and then Nest Ball afterwards, because there's a chance that the Teal Mask would have given me another Squawkabilly, for example, or give me the Squawkabilly, for example, so I can Nest Ball for something else. It doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things, but it is something to keep a note of. Here, I'm also able to just fill a bench, thankfully, and also play the Judge. My opponent only had 3 cards in hand, but seeing as that was their first turn, there's a chance they had a draw support in their hand lying in dormant, and that is great for me, because now I can go ahead, disrupt their hand a little bit, maybe make it better, or not, but anyways, I still get the knockout onto the Regidrago here, taking out 2 energies in play, which is really, really important for me. My opponent now needs a lot of tools to get set up. They do have most of the stuff in the retreat area, or the discard pile, for Regidrago V-Star to recover. He kind of only needs an Energy Switch, and I think he just needs an Energy Switch here, which he does have. And then now he can use Regidrago V-Star to grab an Energy Switch and a Fire Energy, which I know he both has in there. Optimally, he wants to get a draw supporter too, so he'd love to have one of those pieces and then possibly a research, which, spoiler, he has it. Which means that the game is going to keep playing and he's not going to completely brick me, which is all good. He has a full hand now, but he still only has this one Retrieval in play. So there's a chance I'd love to knock it out, but if he doesn't mention another Pokemon, that will probably be impossible here. And it doesn't seem like my opponent's like willing to put down the extra damage onto the field so they can get knocked out. That's it. They do Ultra Ball here. Yeah. Great potential. Oh, you know what? I think my opponent needs a full bench. I'm stupid. They needed to bench 2 Pokemon there, so putting down the Retrieval V is inconsequential. He ends up taking my Entei down. That had an unprocced Forest Seal Stone on it, which means I'm now down a Forest Seal Stone. But that's perfectly fine, because honestly in this situation, I'm still in the positive. I have the first set of knockouts, and all I have to do is find my next set. And I can just go ahead and take a bunch of grass energies here and start drawing hella cards between Fleet-Footed, Flip the Script, and Teal Dance, which is so nice for me. I also go ahead and grab the Iron Bundle here, because it is very likely I'm going to have the Gust Sustain out. I'd rather not use my supporter this turn. In exchange, I'd love to play a Judge or Iono on my opponent and screw them over in some other way. I go ahead and Night Stretcher up an Entei here, just because it seems like it would be good to have the backup plan ready. And yeah, I noticed I don't take the knockout here with Entei. I was just double checking, and so I'll use the Iron Bundle in order to claim 2 prizes here, which is another strong suit of the deck. If they don't have a 1 prize or available, but they have a bulkier guy in the active, you can use the Iron Bundle to force yourself to take a prize, or take extra prizes. Also go ahead and proc my Forest Seal Stone here, because there's either 2 options. One, he doesn't kill me, and I'm likely to win anyways because I'll be so far ahead. Or 2, he kills me and I don't get to use my Forest Seal Stone. So I'd rather get my value out of the Forest Seal Stone now, which I just used to set the Latias, just to give me some extra, extra coverage. I don't have my Mew in play. I believe I just got off my prizes, but I go ahead and grab the Latias just for, extra safekeeping. And now my opponent still needs a lot of resources in order to attack here. He has to play an Energy Switch, he has to manually attach, and he also removes my Steam play. I go ahead and get rid of the Ogerpon without energy on it, as well as get rid of the Radzard, and I use it. But I do question my play here a little bit. I'm not sure if I should have kept the Entei V around. It's nice because it gives you Fleet-Footed draw, but I do believe attacking the Radzard is a little bit easier, because all I need to do is attach a singular Fire Energy onto it, as opposed to needing to attach a Fire Energy and use an Energy Switch onto my Entei. So I think I kind of mess up a little bit here, with, keeping the Entei instead of the Radzard. But, we'll just have to see, I suppose. I could also hit a Night Stretcher too, which I believe I still have, so it's not the end of the world. And I have the Latias, which makes it a little bit inconsequential, so maybe it doesn't matter all that much. I go ahead and just burn my Heavy Ball here, which I probably should have not done, since I knew what my prizes were. But I think I'm just trying to trim my hand down so you can draw cards, which we will see here. Yeah, you know what, it's fine. I made the right play here, just going the Heavy Ball. I'm able to just, keep drawing cards here. Now that I don't have any restricted draw, I can use the Mew first, and use Fleet-Footed into Flip the Script. And this is an optimal order, because it allows you to see the best cards before you have to actually commit something, like this energy. Granted, it was almost always going to go onto the Ogerpon anyways, but it's fine. And I'm able to pull the boss out of my deck with the spare draws that I have, and I'm able to just boss up the Ogerpon and take my last prizes. As easy as that. A very simple Inkling game. But we're going to move on to a Charizard match now. This is one of those matches I really wanted to highlight. Normally, I only record 3 games, or try to get footage from 3 games that are good enough. But I was like, I did 3 games, won all 3 of them. It's like, yeah, but I really wanted to hit Charizard, and I'll probably hit it quick enough. And, lo and behold, I did, right? Charizard is all over the ladder if you've been playing it all. I go ahead and discard the Trekking Shoes here, which I think is the right play. I'm not sure. You could argue I should have maybe got rid of the Energy Switch, because it's very unlikely that the Energy Switch gets me value before I have to squawk here. And the Trekking Shoes could maybe duck me further, but alas. I also have to squawk there, and I really wanted to use use the Nest Ball to grab another Ogerpon and be greedy, but I decided not to. Also, like, hella blunder on this Earthen Vessel here. So not only am I getting rid of an Earthen Vessel, but I also already had the Fire Energy on the Entei anyways. So it's like, yeah, I'm screwing everything up here. Thankfully, this actually ends up being very good for me. So I think playing the Judge against my opponent limits the options that they have, and now they're kind of stretched thin for cards to get. Like, they have to grab the rare candy here now, I presume, and this will allow them to evolve the Charizard, which, you know, both is a good thing and a bad thing. It would have been a bad thing if they could boss up my Squawkabilly, but actually the fact that I blundered my turn so badly and didn't take a knockout is actually the correct line, I think, because now it means that the Charizard can't actively knock me out. Here, I'm like checking the math of my Ogerpon, thinking I need way more to get the knockout. Or not way more, but I need like an energy switch onto the active to get knockout. So I'm really burning through my deck here, trying my best to like get any sort of value. But in actuality, I actually have the lethal here. So I'm, you know, going crazy trying to find this energy switch here, just digging through the whole deck and everything. I'm not finding it, but that's a good thing, right? I didn't burn an energy switch and waste a fire energy on the field for no reason. And on top of that, I actually think saying that the Mew is extremely good for me. Having the Mew in play, you know, gave me that little extra bit of draw. And if they kill this Ogerpon, it also gives me a free pivot down the line, because Mew can just switch out for free without any Latias needed. So I think this is really strong for me. Despite, you know, floundering around for those past 2 turns, I happen to fumble into the correct play. It's a little funny. And my opponent does get the Forest Hailstone and the Rundown, which means that they're likely to piece together the full combo as they have Quick Search and Rare Candy available, but they go ahead and grab the Iono, trying to start my hand a little bit, and actually get some playable cards. I'm starting to see the effects of like the Judge against my opponent just like topple how much they're able to combo me. They're just like unable to really set down anything further than the bare minimum, which is getting attack down. And this is paying off in dividends for me. I'm just like really reeling in the fact that my opponent doesn't have the pieces that they need to progress the game state further than, you know, the bare minimum. And the bare minimum for them is just getting an attack off. Here he takes a knockout, which, you know, good for him. And he doesn't have a whole lot going for him left. I go ahead and attach my Force Hailstone to my Entei. It's likely I won't even need to use the Entei in this match. Here, I'm also just going to discard the second Entei. Or, yeah, I discard the Entei instead of the Force Hailstone. And the reason for that is the second Entei is not likely to do much for me right now. And neither is the second Forest Hailstone. But taking out the second Forest Hailstone means that the second Entei will never do anything for me, essentially, right? Except for maybe be an attacker, but it's just not that likely. And regardless, like, I have another Entei in the deck, so I can just pull that Entei out and use the Forest Hailstone on it. So getting rid of the second Entei just strictly doesn't matter to me. I also go ahead and get another knockout against the Charizard, and this is a really good position for me, because it means that the, what's it called? My opponent doesn't have a Charizard in play, which means that they're down to the Radzard, which is good. The Radzard can sufficiently do its job against me, but you know, my opponent doesn't have any bulky plays. And if my opponent had the Charizard in play, it would actually put more stress on me to try to find the kill with like an Ogerpon, for example, who doesn't have an energy on it, by the way. I go ahead and just send in my Mew here, and currently I think I have lethal in my hand already. Like, I just Ultra Ball for the Radzard and the and for Hailstone for the Prime Catcher, because I haven't used it yet. But deep in my heart, I really wanted to use the Briar here. Briar is just like a card that I feel like should be so fun, and I just never get to use it. It's so sad. So I'm gonna go ahead and just boss up the Fezandipiti here and kill my Radzard. Not go for any swag Briar plays, unfortunately. I really wanted to be in my opponent, but alas, that's just how it is. And then we're on to our third match, and this is like the last good match, I guess I should say. This is against Retrieval, which I think is another deck that a deck like this would typically struggle with, without some of the inclusions like the Area Zero would have. As I said, this game's also just like a little bit scuffed. It's very amusing how we're both just like struggle busting. I also see my opponent drop the Tokus, and I like lose my mind. It's like, oh my goodness, not this bullshit. And this could be really dangerous because I'm playing all 2 prizers. So if Tokus hits 2 heads against me, I can just simply lose the match faster than, you know, I could, despite having the edge of going second here. So I go ahead, just grab 2 energies. I'm also going to rip the Pokestop here, and I see a Forest Sealstone and an Iono gone. It's like, well, the Iono sucks just a little bit because it's a good disruption tool against my opponent. But other than that, it's like, eh. And now I have to question, like, what do I really want here? I go ahead and actually just move the Entei up and get fleet-footed. And I wish I went for the Squawk, but it's like, I can't discard 2 Fire Energies and my Prime Catcher and feel good about it. And anyways, we're going to go ahead and discard a Prime Catcher off the Squawkabilly, essentially, because we hit it off the Judge. What a silly troll game this is. I still go ahead and go deeper for the B value, and it pays off here because I get the Area 0 set up at least. And now my main plan is just to like try to set myself up for as much draw as possible, because one, it doesn't look like my opponent's in a great position. I just judged them, and they only have a Slitherwing in the active, or in the bench, and it's Squawkabilly. So I actually think it's pretty tough for my opponent to hit a Raging Bolt knockout this turn, which I hope so. You know, he does hit the Professor Sodas, but it doesn't mean much when you're attaching a Grass Energy to the Raging Bolt. He also sends the Togepi, which once again could be scary. It could possibly be an out for him, but I'm pretty sure at this point I kind of have him outmatched, unless he gets this catcher. This catcher could be devastating, but no, we're fine. It was close though. He could have. Actually, I'm not sure what he could have done with that. I don't know why he pulled that catcher early. I don't think it actually got him any further. He ends up saying the Slitherwing up. It's like not a great position for me. I'm questioning like what I actually need to do here, so I go ahead and put that in my Iron Bundle. I'm just gonna go ahead and use it. If he gives me the Togepi, then I'm happy because it means that he doesn't have the chance to scam me with all that stuff afterwards. Even if I'm not like entirely happy, I go ahead and just do the B-Draw, and I try to set up a little bit more. I think about grabbing Fez here as well, but I'm like, between my Fleet-Footed and my B-Draw, I think there's a pretty big chance that I could get a Fez later down the line. And so, despite wasting my bundle there, it didn't actually do much. I just go ahead and boss up the Squawkabilly instead, take my 2 prizes, and keep myself on that same map. My opponent ends up bossing the Squawkabilly here, which I think is maybe the wrong play. If my opponent isn't going to do anything to knock me out this turn, I think he should definitely boss up the Radzard. Because then it forces me to put down Latias, and here I could just attach an energy to my Entei here, or to my Squawkabilly or Retreat. Instead I just grab the Latias, which, effectively it doesn't change much. But yeah, I'm also thinking about bossing up a guy here, because I can't kill this, I can't kill the Raging Bolt in front of me, so I'd rather just, take the knockout onto the Slitherwing here, because I feel like I'm so far ahead that the Togekiss won't matter that much. It could. I mean, it definitely could, right? He could just get 2 heads and still win, but he's still so far behind, and I'd rather eliminate the energies in play, which possibly remove him from attacking. That said, this also could have maybe been a misplay. I should be checking my opponent's discard pile here to see if they had extra fighting energies in there for the Sada value. But, I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter all that much. As long as my opponent doesn't hit the 25% chance on both of the Togekiss, this match should pretty solidly be in my favor. I can also swing the ball a little bit with the Radzard by using energy switches and stuff like that. I don't necessarily have to, but it is an optional line if I really just want to play super safe and have the ability to do so. That said, I don't think it'll get to that point. I'm pretty sure we're just in a good situation as is, as my opponent doesn't even get the Togekiss established. So at this point, I'm pretty much in the clear. I just go ahead and get all my extra value here. I'm actually just gonna pull the trigger on the Judge here. My opponent just got 2 new cards. He had 5 cards in hand, and we definitely want to ruin that for him. I'll use the Fleet-Footed and just like keep going with all my extra juice here. This Nest Ball gets me a Fez, which I was looking for. Basically the last piece on this board state that can do anything for me. I believe there's also the game where I like discarded a bunch of energies. I'm not quite sure. So I don't think this Earthen Vessel does anything, but I'm still thinking about possibly playing it. I don't, or no, I do. I go ahead and play it just to trim down my deck a little bit. In case my opponent does do an Iono or something against me, like, I don't want cards in my deck that aren't going to do anything for me at this point. And the biggest thing that I just want left over is like my superior energy retrieval. I think it's like the only thing I'm really looking for. Opponent finally hits their rare candy. I have to mute the Discord because my dogs are barking. Oops. But yeah, I have to actually set up my... What is it? Oh, I think my opponent sets up the Togekiss this turn. He also buzzed my Area 0, which tilts me just a little bit. Clicking off the Squawk is the easiest here. I can also just go ahead and get rid of the Latias, I think, because I still have Prime Catcher in the deck? No, maybe getting rid of the Latias is bad, but I figured, like, in this situation, like, he can't bust, like, he's not going to bust all my Razard this entire game, because the Razard can still definitely attack and just kill the thing the active. I believe the minor nice thing in this matchup for me is if he's playing the Togekiss build, it means he's very likely not to have Bravery Charms. I feel like it's the first thing you cut if you're trying to add a secondary package. So he doesn't have a way of bolstering past this Razard here, which is so nice for me. He is able to get the knockout, which, you know, is a little bit scary because my board state is less than desirable. But once again, I kind of just have enough that I'm not going to be worried about it. He also hits Tails on the Togekiss just for, you know, extra measure, right? Evaluating my game state here, I'm wondering if I should judge or whatever, and I'm like, no, because I put more cards back into the deck that I would have to draw anyways, and that was the right call, as I can just use Fez, go ahead, get the Night Stretcher and the Superior Energy Retrieval, and take my knockout here. This last game here is like kind of a joke, so I'm just going to use it to talk about some things. Thank you guys for watching and enjoying the video. I'm really surprised with how well the Gaji Fire did, since it's not a deck I think many people are looking up. And so I'm hoping to keep providing unique and good content that other people aren't providing. If you guys did enjoy that, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. And I'm not sure if I'll have a link in the description by the time that this video is uploaded, but there's a chance that my locals will be having their stream set up tonight. And if that is the case, I would like you guys to please go check out that channel. You might be able to see me in person playing cards. Woo! I'll probably be playing Terapagos in person because I want to get better with that deck, or I'll probably be playing Greninja EX, one of those two decks. Other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys enjoy the rest of the game. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the continued growth on the channel. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later.